I'm keeping warm in one of my favourite pubs on London Road in Sheffield, the Cremorne. Last time I was here, I had too much to drink and left without taking with me my rather lovely leather man bag, and in my rather lovely man bag was a rather lovely Paul Smith journal. Fortunately, I had only just started the journal, and so I soon came to terms with its loss. This was some years ago now, but it's good to be back since I moved out of Sheffield to first of all to Bakewell and now to the tiny house. My favourite philosopher, as you know, is Kierkegaard, and he loved Copenhagen. He rarely travelled outside of the city, but he did once go on the train, I believe, to Berlin and had a good city break. He tried to reproduce this visit, the pleasure of this visit, as a philosophical exercise. And he recounts this in his essay, Repetitions. That's Repetitions. He got the same train to Berlin, to the same city, stayed in the same guest house and ate at the same restaurant, like I am doing here in the Cremorne. And he is singular in his conclusion that you can't repeat the same experience twice. Well, what's new about that? Heraclitus told us you can't step into the same river twice, about 2,000 years before Kierkegaard. And yet, we are all creatures, well, most of us are creatures of habit. We like to retrace our steps. We like to retrace our thoughts, actually. I've said this before, but one definition of thinking is most people's thinking is no more than rearranging our prejudices. I plead guilty to that. I have been challenged this morning by I won't be specific about what it is, but I'll just say I've been challenged this morning, and I realise how embedded my political or even spiritual prejudices are. And so, retracing my step here on London Road in the Cremorne, I'm acutely conscious of doing the same thing. I have just read a chapter of my new hero, my new Keith Ward, his personal idealism. He's my new hero because he agrees with me, which is what we all want. It's becoming clearer and clearer to me, particularly in this world of surprising election results, shall we say, surprising nominations of the Attorney General and the Defence Minister. I won't go further, but honestly, it's making me genuinely have to face up to the fact that most of the rest of the world doesn't think like me. Well, surprise, surprise, I guess you find the same. So whatever perfectly reasonable, rational, sensible, adult thoughts you have, it's just a prejudice, and other people won't agree with you. So how do we splice the difference? Well, one approach is to try and empathize and actively research somebody else's point of view. And I can tell you that rather surprisingly, for me anyway, after this glass of red, and I think I'm going to have a Middle Eastern takeaway, I'm going to look up on YouTube the chat show of the radical speaker and politician George Galloway. Now, I'm sharing this with you very, I feel very fragile about this, because I don't know, honestly, enough about George Galloway to have a prejudice. No, that's not true. Actually, the exact opposite is true. I know so little about George Galloway from clips I've seen usually on the TV news in his hat, where he's saying something outrageous. That I definitely have a prejudice against whatever he might say. So bear with me. This is going to be an exercise in inclusive thinking, or exploring beyond my prejudices, and I will let you know how I get on. The other thing I'd like to share with you, which I have just picked up from Keith Ward, is something that I'm pleased to say reinforces my own prejudice, which is how we like it, isn't it? We're all for those folks that think or speak like we do, because it makes us feel the world is made in our image. And indeed, Keith Ward is, who was an atheist, is now Christian, post-evangelical like me. He's written a book also called Confessions of a Recovering Fundamentalist. But in this book, this is his personal philosophy or personal idealism, where he argues the case, of course, I think very convincingly, that rather than living in at base level, a materialistic world of matter, the ground of being is mental, or consciousness, we might say, what I might call the ground of being. And I might have to put the exact quote in the description, but I have not read anywhere else in philosophy or theology the view that I thought was my own original thinking. How conceited. Yes, I know. That we actually, it is possible, not only possible, but actual, that we possess the mind of God, or as Paul says in Romans, we have the mind of Christ, which is an outrageous thing to say. How on earth is that possible? but Keith Ward says it's possible. So bingo, it must be true. He argues, I have to say, for me, not very convincingly, that for us to have, let's call it a gentle leaning or a predilection towards the mystery of the divine, this is, if you like attracting like. Fair enough, and so we actually share in the divine mind. It really means this, but in a finite capacity. And his argument is that Jesus, the Christ, had an unencumbered line of communication, although in a finite, limited human body, with the divine mind, and that the divine mind does indeed cohabit with us. So the idea, which is anathema to me, I have to say, I have another prejudice coming up, and I attribute it to Catholics, so you'll have to forgive me because it's probably not true, because I don't know the Catholic tradition well enough. But there's this idea that God is always watching, a bit like a headmaster trying to catch you out, escaping from cross-country running in the rain like I did when I was at school. I didn't fancy doing cross-country running in the rain. And the idea is that it's a two-way communication of a common mind, that the divine mind knows and feels, according to Keith Ward, what we are thinking and feeling, of all of us, all at once. Everything's happening all at once, like that movie title. But we think of ourselves as finite. We operate as finite, and our minds are indeed finite. We are not omniscient, which is the technical term for know-alls. And so I'm pleased to have my suspicions or convictions corroborated by a professor of philosophy and a priest of the Anglican Church. Bingo! I'm off for a kebab.